USPAP page 156. Advisory opinion 31 continued. Submission to state appraiser regulatory agencies. Compliance with due process of law. Submission to a duly authorized professional peer review committee, or compliance with retrieval arrangements. When an assignment is performed by more than one appraiser, each appraiser is subject to the same obligations regarding the work file for the assignment. Whether or not the appraiser signs the certification, these obligations may be met by creating a copy of the work file for every appraiser involved in the assignment. Alternatively, the appraisers might agree to access arrangement whereby the work file is stored in a single location, but access is provided to all appraisers involved. In whatever manner this USPAP requirement is met, all appraisers involved with the assignment must meet it. Certifications/signatures. A signed certification is required for all appraisal and appraisal review reports. An appraiser who signs any part of a report, including a letter of transmittal, must also sign the certification. A signed certification provides important disclosures about aspects of the assignment. It provides evidence that the appraiser is aware of the ethical obligations of acting as an appraiser. In single discipline appraisals, the certification also attests that the analysis, opinions, and conclusions expressed are those of the signatory, whatever. The certification is also where significant appraisal assistance from others not signing the certification must be acknowledged. Any appraiser who provides significant appraisal or appraisal review assistance in the assignment must sign the certification or be identified in the certification. When more than one appraiser is involved in an assignment, USPAP allows for certification in a variety of ways, including all appraisers could sign a certification accepting responsibility for the entirety of the analysis and the report if they are all competent to do so. Or one appraiser could sign a certification and provide the name of each individual who provided significant appraisal or appraisal review assistance. In such a case, the exact nature of the assistance must be reported. But this need not be in the certification. Or for assignments involving multiple disciplines, for instance, real property appraisal and personal property appraisal, an appraiser could sign a certification accepting responsibility only for the elements of the certification. Assignment results and report contents applicable to the appraiser's discipline. For personal property assignments involving multiple appraisers with different specialities, for instance, antiques, fine art, gems and jewelry, machinery and equipment, an appraiser could sign a certification accepting responsibility only for the elements of the certification, assignment results, and report contents specific to the appraiser's specialty. Significant professional assistance. USPAP does not define what constitutes significant appraisal assistance in an appraisal or appraisal review assignment. To be significant, the assistance provided must be substantial enough to have affected the development of the assignment results. Assistance is related to the appraisal process and requires appraisal competency. Therefore, only those acting as an appraiser sign the certification or are identified as providing significant appraisal assistance in the certification. Examples of significant appraisal assistance include, but are not limited to, identification, such as research and selection of comparable properties and data, inspection of the subject property and comparable properties, estimating accrued depreciation, or forecasting income and expenses. An appraiser often uses assistance that does not constitute significant appraisal assistance, although it is the responsibility of the appraiser to determine the role of any individual providing assistance. Tasks such as, but not limited to, writing down measurements the appraiser provides when measuring a structure, taking photographs of the subject property, and providing clerical duties are not considered significant appraisal assistance. An appraiser providing assistance must comply with those parts of USPAP that apply to the assistance that he or she provides. For example, if an appraiser's assistance includes only developing a cost approach in a real property appraisal assignment, that appraiser must comply with the applicable rules, for instance, the ethics rule, etc. Standards rules 1-1, 1-3, 1-4B, and any other applicable sections of Standards Rule 1-4, and Standards Rule 1-6A. Page 157. Illustrations. Work file obligations when trainee signs the report. Number 1. Jennifer is currently being trained as an appraiser, a trainee, working towards her state license as a real property appraiser. Her work includes completing and co-signing appraisal reports with her supervising appraiser. Must she keep a copy of the work file for every assignment she works on? Answer: if Jennifer acted as an appraiser in the assignment, USPAP provides 2 options. Number 1, she can maintain custody of the work file, either the original or a copy. Or, number 2, she can make appropriate access arrangements for the retention period. For example, with her employer or supervising appraiser. Some common scenarios in such an assignment may include the trainee appraiser and the supervising appraiser each keeping a copy of the work file, or the supervising appraiser may retain custody of the work file and provide for access by the trainee appraiser. Both of these arrangements meet the record-keeping requirements. Certification requirements when trainee does not sign the report. Number 2. Using the same scenario from illustration number 1, except only the senior appraiser signs the report and not the trainee appraiser. What certification requirements must each appraiser meet to comply with USPAP? Answer. USPAP states that when a signing appraiser relies on work done by others who do not sign the certification, the signing appraiser is responsible for the decision to rely on the trainee's appraiser's work. The name of the trainee appraiser who provided significant assistance but not signed the certification must be stated in the certification. It is not required that the description of the assistance appear in the certification, but the extent of the assistance must be set forth in the report as required in standards 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. The degree of the description is identified by the applicable reporting option for the assignment. For example, in an appraisal report, the extent of the significant assistance must be summarized. Possession of work files. Number 3, an appraiser is an employee of an appraisal firm. The firm has announced that the office is moving to another city. All appraisers not moving to the new location have been asked to turn over their work files to the company. The appraiser believes that he is required to keep the work files. Who is correct? Answer. The record-keeping rule does not mandate that the appraiser have possession of assignment work files. Employment contracts and other employment arrangements often require appraisers to leave their work files with an employer should the appraiser leave that firm, or in other situations. However, if an appraiser must relinquish actual possession of the work files, the appraiser must establish appropriate access arrangements for the length of the retention period. In the circumstances described, another solution may be for the appraiser to obtain permission from the employer to make copies of his or her work files. Number 4, Jonathan is a trainee appraiser who has been working with the same supervising appraiser for some time. Recently, his supervising appraiser told him that since he was only a trainee, he had no right to access work files on appraisals where he had provided significant professional assistance. Is the supervising appraiser correct? Do trainees have any rights regarding access to work files? Answer. The supervising appraiser is not correct. USPAP places work file retention requirements on the appraiser. Jonathan, since he is acting as an appraiser, is an appraiser as defined in USPAP. In assignments where more than one appraiser is involved, for instance, a trainee appraiser and a supervising appraiser, each appraiser shares responsibility for complying with the record-keeping rule. Supervising appraisers should be aware that all appraisers, including trainee appraisers, must maintain access to work files for a minimum of 5 years. A supervising appraiser must not impede a trainee appraiser's ability to access a work file under the following conditions: submission to state appraiser regulatory agencies, compliance with due process of law, submission to a duly authorized professional peer review committee, or compliance with retrieval arrangements. Denying access to a work file that the trainee worked on is a violation of the ethics rule.